Hey, welcome to another episode of Mr. Analyst. Of course, as you know by now, I'm Leighton Levy, and we're doing some picks for the World Championships that begin on Friday night. The thing is, I'm not going to do picks for all events. I'm doing picks for selected events. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because I'm not going to make this very long. Let's start with the men's and women's 100 meters. I think everybody knows what my picks are going to be, so let's start there. I think Oblique Seville is going to surprise the crowd and win the men's 100 meters ahead of Shane Thompson in a close race with Noah Lyles third. On the women's side, as much as Melissa Jefferson Wooden looks like the hot favorite, and there is good reason for that to be that way, given the 10.65 that she's run all year and how fast she's been consistently all year, I think Julian Alfred is going to win the women's 100 meters ahead of Melissa Jefferson Wooden, with Tina Clayton from Jamaica being third. The 200 meters. Men, I don't see anybody beating Noah Lyles right now. He's just mentally stronger than everybody else who is in the field. My surprise pick, after giving it some thought, will be Brian Lavelle for the silver medal. And of course, let's see that Tebogo coming through for the bronze medal. Of course, Tebogo being the Olympic champion, you can't write him off. Of course, people ask about Kenny Bednarek. I think Kenny Bednarek is an outstanding athlete, but I think given what we'll see from them in the 100, coming into the 200 with fairly fatigued legs, I think Lavelle, who will be fresh, will get that edge and end up on the podium in the silver medal position. For the women, Julian Alfred, for me, takes the double ahead of Melissa Jefferson Wooden, with Sharika Jackson, the defending champion, the two-time defending champion, finishing third. For the 400 meters, Ja'Cory Patterson, for me, is a strong favorite. I think he's been probably the most consistent 400-meter runner all season and has been running injury-free, so I think he wins it ahead of Jerry Richards of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, Matthew Hudson-Smith taking the bronze. Look, Nene from South Africa has been running well, but for me, coming off an injury, I'm not quite sure what to make of his form just now. I haven't seen him since July, so I'm going to go with what I know. On the women's side, here is another surprise for you, from me anyway. I've been talking all year about how Sydney McLaughlin is likely to be, she's going to be a contender regardless. But I don't see her winning. I think when you look at what the PBs are for Marlene Paulino, who's run 48.17 just last year, the Olympic Games. And we know what she does when she comes to major championships. I think she wins it ahead of Salwa Ad Nasir, with Sydney McLaughlin third. It's hard to imagine for a lot of people, but that's how I've given it some thought, and that's what I've come up with. So that's the 400 for women. Going to the men's discus, I think Nicholas Alekna is going to be the world champion, but I think Ralford Mullings of Jamaica takes the silver, with Christian Che taking the bronze. Then let's switch to the 100-meter hurdles for women. I think Masai Russell is the clear favorite here, and it would be crazy to go against her. So I'm picking her to win ahead of Toby Amison. And I'm thinking Akira Nugent could pull off a bronze medal, despite the fact that you're looking at Nadine Visser and Grace Stark. Of course, Jasmine Camacho Quinn and Serena Salvamayala are not there, but the field is still significantly deeper than any other event in the World Championships. And I'm thinking Akira Nugent, and I'm going to go sentimentally with Megan Tapper to perhaps pull off a surprise. If Akira Nugent doesn't, Megan Tapper does it. That's how I'm seeing it. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm going with. All right, so let's go to the relays. The 4x1 women. I think that event goes to the United States, with Jamaica finishing second, Great Britain third. I think the form of Tina and Tia Clayton will make a difference for the Jamaicans, and they'll finish just behind the Americans, who I think on paper have the leg speed to beat the Jamaicans. And I think Melissa Jefferson is a game changer on any leg that she's on. I think she'll be a changer. So I think they get a slight edge over Jamaica. Of course, Great Britain with Success and Daryl Neat and Dina Asher Smith and Amy Hunt finishing third. The men's 4x100, I think if Brian Level is included in the final four, I think Jamaica wins gold. If not, they get the silver medal ahead of Canada for bronze. For the 4x4 relays, I think South Africa wins the event ahead of the United States and Belgium. And for the women, USA wins it because of their sheer depth. Even though Gabby Thomas is not going to be there, but I think they have Aliyah Butler and, of course, Sydney McLaughlin, Isabel Whitaker. I think they're just going to be too fast and too strong for everybody else. I think Jamaica has the depth to go second, and Netherlands finishing third. And for the men, though, I think South Africa wins ahead of the United States and Belgium. I mentioned that before. I think Jamaica has a good team. I just don't think they have the leg speed to match up to those other countries that I mentioned prior. So I think Jamaica is going to be finishing just outside the medals for the men's 4x4. So based on my picks, I think Jamaica will end up with somewhere between, and everything has to go right, between 7 and 10 medals at these championships. Since 2009, which I already ascribed as a Bolt era, Jamaica has won 85 medals at the World Championships. The worst performance was in 2017 when Jamaica finished with 4 medals, including Omar McLeod's gold medal in the 110-meter hurdles. But this year, I think we do slightly better than we did in Paris last year at the Olympics. So that's how I see things panning out for the World Championships. Of course, if Jamaica does not live up to my expectations or your expectations, understand that we're in a period of transition. Chilean Fraser Price's last major championships, and of course, the youngsters finally coming through. However, we'll be talking more about it during the course of the championships, where you'll be able to catch me on a podcast on the Jamaica Observer, and I'll be leading the broadcast team on nationwide radio during the championships. And of course, in between all that, I'll be trying to put up some lives during the course of the championships to give you my take on what we saw on the days of competition. So until then, this is Leighton Levy saying goodbye for now. See you during the championships and wishing that all your wishes come true. Bye-bye.